Islam Makhachev defeats Renato Moicano just as everybody expected. He beat Moicano like a champion was fighting the number 10 contender. And we have to give a lot of respect to both fighters for taking the fight on short notice. It was supposed to be Arman Tsarukyan. He had a back injury which got worse during his weight cut and didn't allow him to cut any more weight. The number 10 fighter, Renato Moicano, stepped in on short notice, a few striking exchanges. Islam took the fight to the ground and just Darce choked him. But the thing is, Islam had to win like that. If he didn't, there would be a lot of doubt about Islam's abilities. How could he not beat Renato Moicano easily? But the fact that he did not only solidifies him as good as he is, of course. He now has 4 title defenses, the most in lightweight history, surpassing Khabib, Benson Henderson, and BJ Penn. He has the most now, and looks like he didn't have any injuries. The knockdown wasn't an actual knockdown. The punch landed toward the armpit as Islam slipped. So that means Islam might be able to fight in the summer, which would be excellent. You know, he could have 3 fights this year. And as he said, he will fight anybody who's willing to step in the cage with him. Doesn't matter who. 1 day notice, full training camp, it doesn't matter. But there is a possibility he will go up to the welterweight division at some point, whether it's his next fight or later in the year. Maybe he fights Arman Tsarukyan again, or maybe he fights Charles Oliveira, or Ilia Topuria moves up and fights him. Now, in the fight, it wasn't as easy in the striking as it seemed. Renato Moicano's reach was giving Islam an issue. Some of the punches from Renato were landing from range. Islam was falling short with his own punches. Even after hand trapping, fighting the lead hand of Renato Moicano, it was still hard for him to get the reach down of his opponent because Renato is very tall and very long. In the first exchange, Islam was trying to move out to his own right, taking the angle while throwing his own jab, but Moicano intercepts him with his own jab. But Islam was able to slip on the outside of Renato's right straight. And as you can see here, Islam feints forward. He reaches to the lead hand of Moicano. It's kind of like a similar look that he's giving Moicano from the other exchange. But Moicano throws a right straight, and Islam is able to slip his head on the outside of it while also moving away. So he's trying to get the reach down of Renato Moicano there. Then he extends his own left straight, and Renato Moicano is able to lean away from the punch, as well as the follow-up right hook. More hand fighting between them two. Islam's measuring for his own reach. Then he fakes the jab. It's like a similar look that he gave with the other 2 exchanges, but instead, he fires out the left straight immediately off of the fake jab and lands the shot as Renato Moicano is trying to intercept him with his own jab, just like he has success with the first exchange. They both throw the right hands after, both punches miss, and Islam's able to slide away from the left hook that Moicano threw very heavy. He was trying to knock Islam out with that punch, with how much he overextended with it. Look how his shoulders rotated all the way to the right side like that. That was a powerful shot he was trying to land on Islam. So Islam's getting a better feel of the range, but then when Renato Moicano moves forward, he throws the jab, which Islam is able to slip again and also move away from, but the right straight from Moicano lands, as the right straight reaches further than the jab. When you throw a 1-2 combo, the 2 is going to reach further than the jab, landing at the end of the punch, and he's able to slide away from the follow-up shot of Moicano. Another jab lands at the very end of the reach, so you can see there were some issues with the reach of Moicano. They would look when Islam fell. It's quite interesting. So Islam is looking to engage with the left hand to the body. He misses the punch as Moicano is also throwing his right uppercut. So because Moicano's throwing an uppercut, his body's also going to rotate at the same angle, causing Islam's body shot to miss. He overextends with his head down. He does have his eyes on Moicano, but then Moicano throws the left hand. It looks like he may have landed on Islam with his forearm. Now, maybe this was a factor in Islam falling. It could have been a knockdown. It could have stunned him in the moment, because the last punch that has any kind of connection on Islam is a right hand that lands toward the armpit. It doesn't land to the head of Islam. It doesn't hit the chin or anything like that. And you can see how Islam's left foot slips forward and he's trying to break his fall, right? So it does look like he slipped, but it is to be noted that that left forearm could have landed to the jaw. It may have stunned him momentarily. But then eventually Islam got sick of the strike and he's like, okay, we threw some kicks, we threw some punches. Nothing really too big landed except maybe that left hand from Islam was the biggest punch. So he starts bouncing forward and back, and faking the jab constantly, hand fighting with Renato Moicano until he fakes the jab again. And you can see how Moicano tries to parry the punch. He reaches his left hand forward. Islam gets under the arm for a single leg takedown. He connects with the first takedown and then chain wrestles. This is usually how the Dagestanis wrestle. They shoot the first takedown and then the second takedown is the one that gets the opponent to the ground. So he rises up and gets Renato Moicano with a knee tap takedown right into half guard, and Moicano was able to escape. He pushes off the cage, gets both of his arms under Islam and pushes him upward so he can create space to fit his knee in, which is also creating more space between them two so he can kick Islam away. So he was gradually creating more space between him and Islam, so Islam couldn't hold on to him in the half guard position. But then Moicano makes a mistake. He rises up into Islam. He doesn't try to get away. He gets up, moves into Islam with a left underhook, gives up his neck, Islam goes for the guillotine and then switches that into a Darce choke, and the fight was over. There was no resistance from Renato Moicano. First round submission. And do you regard him as the greatest lightweight of all time? It's not the opponent that you want to see him beat. You know, if he beat Arman Tsarukyan, then yeah, but does the 4 title defenses with the fighters that he's beaten already make him the greatest lightweight of all time, right? It's a competition between him and Khabib, but whether you have Khabib or Islam, I think if Islam gets one more win, it's concrete, right? He is the greatest lightweight ever. But right now, I think he's probably like tied with Khabib, just because Khabib fought Dustin, Justin, Conor, RDA, and even Michael Johnson and Edson Barboza are better opponents than the Moicanos and Bobby Greens and Thiago Moises of Islam's career. So great win for Islam Makhachev. Respect to Renato Moicano for stepping up at short notice. He said that he thinks he's never going to fight for the title again. And that's tough to hear, man, you know, because when a fighter has a dream to become the champion and then he fights the champion and loses in the first round and he's never fought for the belt before, I don't know if that like shoots his confidence down in his next fights, but he has to try at least, you know, maybe he will eventually build himself to another title shot, but maybe they do the Dariush fight again or they give Renato Moicano someone else. I don't know what the UFC is going to do for his next fight. And same for Islam. I don't know who Islam is going to fight next. Do they give Arman another shot? He pulled out. He missed weight in another fight before. Like, I don't know. And it's the second time in Islam's title defenses that a fighter has pulled out. So if he wants to move to welterweight, he can do it. 4 title defenses, staying in the fight when his opponent pulls out. He did the UFC a big favor like that. So I can see the UFC allowing him to go to the welterweight division. But who do you guys want to see Islam fight next? Arman, Charles, welterweight, Ilya? There's a lot of good opponents for Islam Makhachev. And I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you guys did, make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe with the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.